Coach, you've been around college football for a long time. A lot of different teams, a lot of different programs. What makes this spring football unique and different than the other spring football scenarios you've been around?
Well, they're all different. That's the first thing. If I went back the last 30-plus years, I thought they're all different because sometimes you come in with a bunch of vets, sometimes you lose some guys, sometimes you're like, wow, I don't know who's going to play, and then all of a sudden people stand up. But that's my point, is someone always steps up in spring, and they're like, wow, I didn't think he was ready to go, and he's good. That's what spring ball's for, and establish some rhythm. But I think, like I was just mentioning to you, 2 years ago I stood here, and it was like, okay, we lost Brady and those other two, and some other guys weren't proven, and what are we going to do? And we ended up having a pretty good year, that way. So I feel like that's still the plan, and we'll plug in the spots. We move Kingsley over to the left side, which is one move that's good, but we'll have some guys all healthy in the fall. But I'm pleased with where we're at. There's some good days and bad days for sure, but I think back to your original question, everyone is just slightly different. I can't say I've ever had one exactly the same.
How would you explain the energy surrounding the offensive line specifically with all of the changes and the key pieces that have moved on?
Well, I think it's a mixture, sometimes based on the day, of excitement, and you got guys hungry to play, and then other times some of the guys are a little tentative, and maybe they get beat on one, and then they slow it down. So, but as far as energy and enthusiasm, I think for the most part, like I said, you're going to have an off day or something too, and our defense is playing real well this spring. But I would say I'm pleased with it. Sometimes, every group's a little different with leaders too. And just because a guy's a rah-rah guy doesn't necessarily make him a leader, but the energy from the group comes from that some, but it more comes from putting a guy on his back or pancaking a guy, or a great double team they know sprung a touchdown, or that's what gets a line going. And when we've done those things in the spring, these kids have fired up, and I feel good about their energy.
I was joking with Aaron Roderick because I know he's such an even-keel guy about, don't get too excited, Coach, when you see a big play. Where are you in the emotional spectrum? When you see a big pancake blocker, springs a big run, where are you in the reaction mode?
Well, I don't headbutt guys anymore, and I don't do a whole bunch of chest bumping. I'm excited. I'm just excited in a little different way. That's why the GAs have to be faster than me on the sideline. But no, I love those plays. And to be honest with you, whether it's this spring or last fall, when we've had some big plays, sometimes I'm late on hearing the next call because I'm still fired up about something. Just I could think of several plays like that. But no, I love this game. It's given so much to me, and to be able to come out on the grass and look at those mountains and be around kids and coach a game, I mean, my gosh, that's work. That ain't work. That's just a dream come true. And I'm not trying to be corny. That's how I feel every day. Now, some days are better than others how you lead the field, but I just think I think this group, the staff, the different energy our defense has right now, and the excitement that we have on some things, and plus going into the Big 12, I think it's all going to come to a head at the right time in the fall.
Offensive line coach Darrell Funk is with us on BYU Sports Nation. You brought up leadership specifically, and I want to kind of address that term. Connor Pay clearly is a leader because of his veteran experience, his position as the center. But who else is joining Connor on that leadership front for the offensive line?
Well, you mentioned Connor, and he's played guard, he's played center, he knows the offense, and he has his style of leadership that way, somewhat like a coach in a lot of ways. You've got Kingsley, who just knows one speed in practice, and he goes and tries to hit somebody and gets it fired up about. So he's not a big rah-rah guy, but his energy you feel in the plays he makes. Paul, I know he's not practicing this spring, but he's won a lot of games and won championships. So, and just watching him play, he's going to give us a fire in the fall that will really help us. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not a leader in the room isn't always the guy that wants to talk all the time. In fact, back even when I played, I could name two guys that talked all the time in my junior and senior year. That I just wanted to slug all the time. They didn't do anything for us or the team, but they talked, so we just ignored them. I don't think we have any guys here like that for sure, but I just think, and again, the group grows. It's a different group. They've been together only since January we did meetings, so kind of evolves, and we'll add a few more pieces. And like I said, by the time we get to mid-August, whatever, the chemistry will be a whole different, unique set of characteristics, if that makes sense. And that's why it's so fun too, because every team's different. I know Kalani says it, every team's different, but every position group year to year is different. And these guys are fun, and I get on them sometimes, love them up other times, because I'm competitive, they're competitive, but no, I'm really excited about what the group's going to be. We're a long way from a finished product, but we're going to be fine.
Without question, you lose some key pieces, and we're super excited to watch what Blake Freeland is going to do in the NFL. Joe Tukuafu is a big piece, and he started a number of games. Harris LaChance, the Barrington brothers transfer. Who are some of the young guys that you're seeing stuff from in spring ball specifically that you think could have an impact and help out in filling some of those prominent shoes?
Well, right now we've got obviously Kingsley's still a young guy, but he's a returning veteran, and he's probably the one that, of the younger classes, that jumps out the most, But we've had guys that have really improved since last year and even since the start of spring. You got Tyler Little that has, finally grown into his body as a lineman. And you got to remember, he didn't play football for 4 or 5 years. He's a basketball player, so he's shown some good things. Trevin Osler, I think, has really done some good things at times. A couple of Peter Falanico coming out of a redshirt year has gotten a lot of work at center, which is awesome, and he can also play guard. But, we have some other new kids who come. And when Waylon gives us a breath of fresh air in the room, and he's a guy that has a chance to be in the mix. Ian Fitzgerald's played a lot of football. Doesn't say much, but does some really good things and that. But we're I think we've got enough young guys, and we've got a few more people that we're going to add at some point. And then, but I think it's going to come together. You take those guys that have got better. Now, what the crazy thing is, our first group out here right now, in the fall, I'm not saying they can't be with the first group, but it's going to look a lot different. But those guys are going to have basically starter experience because they just went through 3 or 4 practices with the first group. Because I don't care if it's spring, fall camp, or up there at the stadium. If you're with the ones, there's a different expectation if you're playing, and they're gaining that experience. So I'm excited about that.
Pro Football Focus is a key metric that the football world kind of seems to rely heavily on. I don't know how much you're into those statistics, but looking at last year's offensive line, we're talking about, the number 1 rated pass blocking offensive line and number 12 run blocking offensive line. But you said we can be better. We need to be better. What are some of the aspects that you are looking to improve upon, specifically in gameplay and formations and whatnot, as you push from what we thought was a really good line last year into next season?
Well, and I do respect the PFF. I like looking at the better stats. I forget the bad ones. I'm just kidding. I don't look at a bunch of that, but I really have a lot of respect for all they do because we use some of their stuff for scouting purpose and everything. They do a lot of really good stuff. But I would say this. What we do to protect the quarterback, how we block up front's part of it, what our tight ends do involved in that game, how quick we get the ball out, our running backs and different things, how we mix it up. That's huge, and we'll continue that. We'll always add. We've added a few other little things for sure. Running the ball is always a little different deal. Coming off losing Tyler off the year before, and then last year was kind of a running back committee. We still did some really good things at times. We got run game going later in games. Early it was stagnant a little bit, and I think a part of that was growing with the new running backs. And it's hard when you had 25 toting the rock, and and then Peeny coming in for his carries. That was a really good. Well, for my first year and then the year before, it's just consistent. They run in the same places. You know how to block it. He knew how we were going to come off at certain times on the combos and stuff. And sometimes, when you're running four running backs in there, it just takes a little while. But we still did enough in some running game. Finished on a good note. I think we rushed for 200 or more in the last 4 of the last 5 games. Yeah. That might have been a PFF stat. But no, you just try to build on it. You never stay exactly the same. We're going to add a few things, feature a few things, explore a few little things that we already started doing in the off season, and then just kind of build. Because you can't just do the same thing every year, even if you have all the same guys. Even coming into the 21 year, we changed a few things, some pretty subtly and some pretty drastically, and added a few things that give some people trouble.
I want to ask you about the defense. You mentioned, and you're not alone, I've heard this from every coach and every offensive player, the defense is just different, and it's making the offense better, albeit there are some frustrating moments for the offense because the defense is flying around and giving different looks. But how has it made your job a little bit more unique this spring?
Well, it creates a lot of the issues that you see in week 5 or week 7 that are a little bit unique or different. And when you've worked through those issues at practice, that helps, because on 3 days, hey, this is a way different blitz scheme or something like that. That can be hard, in the middle of the season. So getting some of those concepts and different things, not exactly what we're going to see, but just maybe more variety, and makes us really test our calls, our schemes, and then makes kids see it. So when I've been around this, and they've got great energy, their kids playing hard and everything, and I'm just, they get excited, they get after us, they're kind of in her face and all that. I don't like that much, but I would be too. But that's the thing. But I'd say, back to your original point, it's the schemes, it's what's happening, it's how we have to adjust, and that'll go a long ways to helping us adjust in games. Because sometimes I've had it happen before when the DC had a really nice defensive scheme. I think we had it a couple places like that, and it was like sometimes it was a pain in spring and fall camp. You're like, geez, we're going to do another blitz drill or another. But by the time we get into the year, and it'll happen up here too, someone will show a blitz, and we're trying to identify it from the box, and the kids will come over and they say, oh, that's just that. We saw that in the spring, and we picked it up. And that's so that's the thing. And I guess I would compare it to, in some ways, to well, like I said, the variety of the defenses and everything is going to make us better in the long run. Makes for a tough day or two, here and there, but I'd rather that and just get better at it. But we're going to create some problems. They do a really good job.
Well, your offensive coordinator, Aaron Roderick, has raved about the offensive line, and certainly Kingsley and Connor and other individuals. And he said, I just feel like from an athleticism standpoint, this group is actually more athletic than the departing group. Why do you feel like that is the case?
Well, some of it started like in winter runs and everything, just watching kids run and different things, or watching them like with Paul and some of those guys running on tape and playing. Part of it's that, but it starts with a guy like Kingsley, moving him to the left side, and Blake was a freak. He killed the combine and all that, but Kingsley's no less athletic than Blake, I promise you. You know what I mean? So we haven't lost a tick there. And then when you just look, Connor if he's a center, or if he's a guard, or if Paul's a center, Paul's a guard, they're going to be just another year better. I think whoever's playing left guard, or right guard, either of the guards, I think he's got a chance to run better and move better. I do. And then we'll see what happens at right tackle. But I think like I said, it starts in off season and watching guys move and run. Sometimes in the middle of a practice, when guys are trying to figure out something, they don't run as well and everything. So sometimes, just watching them play, you see a play looks ugly because the guy's not moving as well. But when they know what they're doing and we get everyone on the same page, a really athletic group.
Coach, we always like to cast light on the offensive line. They're guys that deserve more credit. So we appreciate you doing this interview and taking the time with us. And hopefully, while you're not going to be headbutting guys, there are more moments where maybe you miss a play call because you're excited.
I'll continue to do that. And who knows, we make a big enough play. Maybe if you see me with a bloody eyebrow or something like that, it means, I got fired up. I headbutted someone, and the trainers will look at me after we celebrate and sing the fight song. You may see it.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Offensive line coach Darrell Funk.